Hello, hello. I think we're live. Are we live? We are live. Let's go. Hello, hello, everybody. Anyone that's tuning in, huge thank you, thank you. We've got a night upon us. It is new Pokemon night. We got a new Pokemon. Just got released. Toxtricity. 2 Pokemon, realistically. Also, we're stuck with this. I mean, I guess I could mute my music on here and pull up the actual Top Hollow music, but it is the full moon. Much to my dismay, I do not like the full moon music. Does anybody though? Hello out there. See, I've got 2 concurrent viewers. Thank you for tuning in, whoever the 2 of you are. We got a new Pokemon, Toxtricity. What are my thoughts on it? I'd say it is certainly one of the Pokemon of all time. Toxel. It's probably just like, I don't know. It's probably just gonna be like if you caught a Plusler Minun, then get a Toxel just to complement it, because then you don't have to hunt the other 10-pip one. That's kind of my thoughts on it so far. Otherwise, don't bother. Yo, it's my first time joining the live. Feels strange after watching your videos every day for months. Keep the work. Thank you, Gwenael. I'm guessing is how that's pronounced. It's glad to see you in chat. It is well appreciated. I love the lives, honestly. They become a growing part of one of the big things that I've enjoyed about the channel is the lives. Talking about these things as they come live, just having chats, answering questions. French viewer. It's actually pretty common for my my live streams. I've noticed I get a pretty large French audience just because the timing that I do it. Most people in the States are asleep. Have you decided where to go next week? I don't have any interest in Toxel, but I'll still probably be at OGPP for Trico Candy. I mean, that's a good idea. Yeah, Trico, decent option. It is at OGPP. I'm going for Expert Mode Greengrass. It seems like a great play right now. What are we looking into? Oh, got Dark super favored for Expert Mode, using Darkrai team with Umbreons. Oh gosh, that's going to be a lot of skill procs if they have the... During Super Skills Week, that's going to be insane. Good morning, Carolyn. What are we looking into? Yeah, Toxel was announced. I'm not too interested in it, but I haven't looked into Toxel. What's all up with it? Sad about Toxel from Jazz. Hi from Australia. Hey there, Firestorm. So yeah, Toxel. I guess the lowdown on it, they gave it plus and minus. That's not too surprising. I thought they might go a different route with it, but if we take a look at it, amped form has plus, low key form has minus, and they gave them the exact same stats in every other way. The literal only difference is their main skill. Otherwise, they are identical to each other. Well, and also their sleep styles, obviously, but, because, like, signature, well, I guess we can't actually see them yet on Random X. But as far as, stats go, oh, and then milk Toxtricity Amped is a milk producer with plus. So if you need milk, it's another option. It's got a pretty high trigger rate. If you make the comparisons, it's, like, pretty good at producing milk, but... Hi, Momo on YouTube. Good to see you, Aliabs. It's, like, alright at it. If we run Toxtricity, it's decent at making the milk. If it has that synergy going for it. But realistically, it's going to be pretty rare to see it. Were the stats available now? Yes, they are. They've been available for a couple hours. It's very mid. I think it's alright if you have a Plusle Minun and want some more to synergize with it. I think if you're going the Plusle Minun route, then these are... Well, Toxtricity low-key really is just Minun Plus, but not electric. Minun Plus, that's funny to say. Toxtricity low-key is just better Minun. If we make the comparison of it to a Minun, it procs the skills more. And they basically do the same sort of thing. with expert mode, there might be some sort of use case with poison versus electric type. But yeah, Minun is more of a difficult hunt. So I'd probably say if you have a Plusle and want to invest a Plusle, then hunt it for a low-key partner. Maybe get an amped if you stumble into it. But yeah. Audio real choppy. Is anyone else having that problem, or is it just Cornflake Blaked? Let's go. Yeah, glad to have you all here for the live stream. We got 35 viewers now. Or 31, actually. I think peak was 35, but good to have you all here. It's always enjoyable. Sound fine to me. Okay, good to know. Good to know. It's good? Alrighty. Thank you all. Okay. So, yeah. Toxtricity low-key form is just kind of better than Minun. Which is kind of like, okay, this is kind of nice. It's going to proc more often. If you want a minus Pokemon, it works for that purpose. Toxtricity amped, on the other hand, is just kind of... I don't know, I can't justify it in any sort of circumstance, really. I mean, if we put it on a team with another Toxtricity, we'll say, then it does produce 75 milk with this sort of stat spread. If it's got the mono milk list, that's like 98 or 98 milk. Adding this 5.7, that does surpass 100. That's comparable to Blastoise and Meowscarada. But that also takes a lot of seeds, and it also takes the synergy of having two of them on the team. So, I don't know, it's pretty difficult to justify in my mind to invest for the milk. Happy Meta Shift Eve. I mean, Meta Shift Eve is true because of Expert Mode. Expert Mode is still going to change things up. In fact, okay, getting off of Toxtricity, I think it's like, whatever. Toxtricity is kind of just a meh. It's another one that I think is going to be added, and people are probably going to talk about it for some time, and then it's probably just going to be forgotten about, if I had to guess. I'm trying to think of the last time that really happened. I mean, Comfey was talked about quite a bit when people were hunting Comfey when it was released. Now people don't really care about Comfey. I actually kind of think it's bad. What's good, gang? Nothing much, nothing much. It's going crazy. But one thing that I wanted to discuss, Expert Mode, okay? Now that we have Expert Mode details, which we can actually see in Rain on X by going here, and clicking this, and then going Expert Map Info. We can actually see all the effects. Now, something very interesting. Snorlax gets two... These are the different sub ones that are possible. Also, I wanted to... I just realized it's past my bedtime and sleep, so... I'll put the Pokemon to sleep real quick. Give me a moment. They're asleep. Okay. If low-key is better than mine, I suppose I wouldn't mind catching a low-key, considering I'd luck into a good Plusle. Yeah, and low-key should be an easier hunt. Just because it can... It has 3 potential natures that are main skill up. So if you're going to get a skill up, it's most likely going to be low-key. Unless it's sassy. In which case, if it's sassy, it's amped. But yeah, it should theoretically be an easier hunt. There are less speed-up natures for it, though. Amped has 3 of the 4 speed-up natures. But fortunately, the one speed-up nature that low-key has is not the speed down one, or skill down one. That's one of the Amped's potential natures. So, yeah. It's pretty decent. It's alright. If you already have a good Plusle, then a low-key Toxtricity, I think, can be a good addition to the team. But with Expert Mode, it's probably better to try and get a Minun, just so that you know that whenever one has Matching Berry in Expert Mode, they're both going to. Meanwhile, with Toxtricity, if you get a good Toxtricity low-key, you probably want a good amped one, so that you know that they can synergize with each other. Japan time zone, so I just put my guys down to nap. Hey, I just put my guys down to nap too, or to sleep. To sleep. In fact, I'm actually putting this one on. This is the Sleepers account. Putting it to sleep as well. 0 Plusle minus, so sticking to Expert Mode next week. That's a decent option. But something that I wanted to discuss with Expert Mode. I think the future is Berry Burst. If I have a good Minun, is the reverse true. Not really, because Toxtricity Amped just wants milk. Like, it just makes milk. Like, I guess you should maybe go for it just to get something to match it with. You could have 2 Toxtricity low-key, but that'd be a lot of pot expansion. More than what you probably need. The synergy definitely works there for plus to minus, but I don't know if the synergy really works all that well minus to minus, or minus to plus. Definitely, even though Toxtricity plus, or even though Amped is better than Plusle for proccing the skill, I think that Plusle is the more useful Pokemon just because it makes a better ingredient. Or a more useful ingredient that's harder to come by. So, not that milk isn't useful, but it's a lot easier to come by than coffee is. So I think that makes it more justifiable. Okay, just put the sleepers to sleep now. Yeah, milk really is kind of what makes Toxtricity Amps meh. If they had if its A, B, and C ingredients were flipped, so that A was leak, but that would make it broken. That would make it really broken, if we're honest. That'd be a goodbye Farfetch'd Hello Toxtricity moment if they made its A ingredient leaks with how much it procs the skill. I do like that they kept all of its stats identical, though. Like, literally identical. I can click back and forth between these, and the only thing that's different is the sleep styles and the skill. But yeah, going back to things, I think the future is Berry Burst for Expert Mode. Berry Burst is insane in Expert Mode, and here's why. If you have a Berry Specialist, it gains advantage from this sub-Snorlax boost. If you have a Skills Specialist, it primarily gains from this Snorlax boost. If you have a Berry Burst, or I'm talking about a Charge Strength M Specialist, it's primarily going to gain from this one. If you have a Berry Burst Specialist, it's going to gain advantage from either one, so 2 out of 3 Expert Mode weeks, your Berry Burst Pokemon are going to be boosted. I think that Berry Burst has a lot of potential, especially considering, oftentimes we consider Skills Specialists like Charge Strength M to be the Generalist Pokemon, but there really isn't a place for a Generalist in Expert Mode all that much. Like, if you're off Berry and you really have nothing, a Generalist can fill that last slot just to get you something. But ideally, you probably want to be on Berry most of the time because minus 15 or plus 15% frequency is a significant enough debuff that you should try to avoid it. Can you get around it with good enough sub-skills in nature? Yes. Will it work as a bandage thing as you hunt for better things? Absolutely. I'm not opposed to running them when the situation's right. I'm not saying they're bad in Expert Mode. But I think long-term we're going to want something so that we'll always be matching type in Expert Mode to the best of our ability, except for on the Pokemon that have particularly valuable main skills that are very unique, like Tasty Chance and Energy for Everyone, I think are the only ones that are going to be like, okay, yep, we'll settle for not being on type for this. But Berry Burst, like I said, it gets a boost from this, and it gets a boost for this. If they're getting a boost from the 1.25 times likely to trigger, then they're just going to be better than a Charge Strength Specialist. Because the one thing that makes Charge Strength Specialists better Generalists is because a Berry Burst Pokemon relies on Favored Berry if it really is going to outperform. It's not really a true Generalist. But in Expert Mode, they theoretically should have Favored Berry, which they're always going to do better than a Generalist with Favored Berry. Hands down. I mean, if I just compare, let's say Braviary to Golduck. I'm only picking this particular comparison because they're the only ones that I can... I guess I could also do Ampharos to Mimikyu. I can do that comparison later. But if we compare them at, say, level 50, I'm interested to see how this compares. And not even comparing it with the Berry Finding build, and compare it just with a Skill Trigger build. And they both have Favored Berry, Water, and Flying. And let's do the unfair comparison thing, where we just have one Pokemon of a different type that doesn't really do all that well. We're throwing Caterpie for the team. And then also do this for Golduck. I need to refresh the page. It's starting to lag. Oh, I need to actually have total strength enabled. Oh, darn it, that's sorted by total strength. Gosh, darn. Okay, I guess the Golduck is still coming in a bit better at level 50. Late game, though, level 60. Oh, still Golduck. I'm actually kind of surprised by this. It is better, I guess, even in expert mode with this sort of circumstance. Is this with... what event bonuses do I have enabled? Nothing. Multiplier. What? Yeah, compared to Braviary. Well, I guess a part of this, though, is the Caterpie. What if I throw in 4 Caterpies? Just to make it a full team of garbage Pokemon. Go, Doug, really. Do you think it's viable to reroll berries in expert mode given the cost? Weird. Ben's Golduck is eating good in expert mode. So they're comparable at 60, I guess. 65? I mean, 65, obviously, it should overtake it because, you know, at that point, but not by much. Interesting. But also, if you roll, once again, here's why I think Berry Burst is better. Is because, theoretically, if you have where now berries are, if you roll the one, it says 2.4 times, but it's 1.2 from whatever it would be. If you have that modifier, then there's a big difference. Granted, skill modifier should theoretically help the Golduck more, because it gains more from the skill versus the berry, I feel. Let's see. Yeah, the Golduck does better with the skill boost. But the thing is, the Braviary is benefiting from both. And that's where I think the value is coming from. And why I think I'd actually prefer this for like a general expert mode team. Because it's going to be helpful 2 of 3 weeks versus 1 of 3 weeks. More helpful 2 of 3 weeks versus 1 of 3 weeks. But I think that Berry Burst is getting... Expert mode is a buff to Berry Burst. An unintentional one. But the way that they structured it, it is a buff to Berry Burst. Although something very interesting, pretty much after I discussed Sceptile so in depth, after I discussed Sceptile so much in depth, we actually kind of realized that it works the same for Braviary and Mimikyu, that Berry Fighting S is almost better than skill triggers. Not to the extreme of Sceptile, but similarly. Hello there, Lone Sniper. Also, I'll address some past messages. Curious how they'd do split evolutions for Pokemon like Rockruff and Lycanroc. I'd be interested to see. Rockruff, Lycanroc is a very interesting one because there's 3 different ones. Same with the Applin line and the... Oh, what's the other one? Tyrogue. You guys are probably flaming me in the comments for forgetting that. Those 3 have 3 branches, which could just be 1 for each specialty, which I think could be kind of neat. Do you think it's viable to re-roll berries in expert mode given the cost? No, not at all. Absolutely. I think people that are re-rolling the berries are wasting their tickets. There's easy travel tickets and there's expert tickets. It costs both of them to re-roll it. I think the penalties are not really that bad. So just tank it for a week. And if you are to re-roll it, then you're basically sacrificing 5% area bonus. You should not be re-rolling it. You should be building up that 5% area bonus, especially if you're maxed on all the islands. Otherwise, if you would just be wasting that area bonus because the only thing you have left to build is expert bonus, do not reroll it under any circumstance. This is about what to prioritize in a hunt. Everyone needs one of everything except Wobbuffet. Poor Wobbuffet. Hello, just came into the stream. How good or bad is Toxtricity? It's mid. If you have Plusle and Minun and are using Plusle and or Minun, then I'd say hunt it just to have more options. But that's outside of if you have a good Plusle and Minun, I probably wouldn't suggest it for most people. Add Persian to that list too. Yeah, I can't actually think of even an expert mode justification for Persian. It's just so bad. And do you really need a shard farmer in expert mode? Ideally, in expert mode, you're pushing strength. And you wouldn't be wanting to use a shard farmer unless it's a niche circumstance. So, yeah, I'm not sure you can really justify Persian either. Lucario might be interesting because it is notably the best at strength as like a dual specialist of all the shard farmers. If we bring in here Swalot, Sable, actually let's make the stats right. We'd probably be looking for Berry Fighting S and like Skill Trigger as like a minimum. If we make them like level 50 or 60, we'll make them 60 because we'd be looking for strength at this point. And then make them max out main skill level. And let's just get an army of Swalots in here and compare to... I know it's always been Sableye is like second. Oh, I gotta actually max out the main skill there. Sableye, Lucario... Musharna, interestingly, is always usually here. And then, is there another? Well, I know there's Persian. I know there's Holiday Hat Pika. I'm gonna leave Holiday Hat Pika off this one because it's weird. And I want to just keep it all in one row. So Persian. If we look at them, I mean, Persian is outproduced by Musharna, and Musharna is a berry finder. Musharna produces the most strength, but Lucario is actually not that far behind it for raw berry strength. Now, Persian, I guess, does... It's worse than Lucario, though, for raw berry strength. And it's also worse than all of them for shard productivity. It's better than the two best shard farmers for strength. So I guess these three, even though they're worse shard farmers, they're producing more raw strength, which might give them a bit more usage in expert mode if they have Berry Fighting S. Just so that you can have like a dual shard farmer and some strength, but I don't know. I think you'd be more likely to just want to run something with help bonus that's also a shard farmer. Even in expert mode, the minus 15% isn't that bad for Swalot. Yeah, that's also a thing. Wait a minute. I didn't even think about that. Musharna Propaganda W. Okay. Minus 50... Okay, so let's say Persian. Now, assuming same sub-skills and stat and spread, all that stuff. If we go into the multiplier and give it a minus 10% frequency, it produces 10,060. If we go in, and also let's give it the 1.25 skill trigger rate. Here's where it's really going to be like a, okay, how bad is Persian? Let's see. Okay. 1060, I guess. Is it doing the... Okay. I don't know if it's taking into account the skill trigger. Oh, wait a minute. That might... I think I did the wrong thing. Yep, I made that mistake before. It's skill trigger rate, not... That's my mistake. Okay. There we go. Oh, I also have to adjust it to be all Pokemon, not just... Because this would be universal. Okay. In this circumstance, Persian produces 12,261 Dream Shards per day. If we clear that, it was like what? It was 12,261. I'm going to put that in chat so I don't forget it. Okay. Now, if I get rid of that, and then also change the multiplier to plus 15%. 12,667. Okay, so Swalot, off-type, produces more Dream Shards than Persian on-type during a skill-boosted week. Yeah, there's no justification for Persian. It's just run a Swalot. Like, just hunt a Swalot. I guess if you catch, like, a godly Persian, then maybe, but... a Swalot off-type in expert mode is going to make more Dream Shards than a Persian with all the maximum boost you can give to skills mons. Okay. Wobbuffet getting ready to invest. Okay. It makes me so sad Lucario is not a great mon in this game, but it's my fave, so I must have them all. I mean, must all of them. Yeah. I mean, Lucario, it's... Okay. This is something that kind of went generally unmentioned. And I've kind of talked about this before. Before they released main skill level 8, Lucario was bad. It was really bad. Similar to all the other Dream Shard Magna Pokemon. Now, they buffed it in a weird way, in the sense that they didn't buff the skill, so it didn't show up as a buff in the news. But if you actually looked at the comparison of Dream Shard Magnet variable versus fixed, at every other level, it's always the fixed amount is whatever the minimum is times 2. And that's the case with all other levels. But then here, they made it's higher than that. They actually kind of gave the skill a mini, like, pseudo shadow buff, I'd call it. So all of the fixed amount shard farmers got a buff with that, comparative to the variable amount. And ever since then, it made Lucario just enough better that if you have a really, really good one, I think it can be worth investment and can do the job pretty well. A really, really good Swalot's obviously going to outproduce it by a pretty significant margin. But I think Lucario, with the right sub-skills, can be viable. Before that point, I wouldn't have even suggested it even with perfect sub-skills in nature. I probably would have said just go for a Swalot, it's easier and better. Now I think if you have perfect sub-skills in nature, it can be justifiable. Persian did not gain that benefit, because even though it gained the benefit, it didn't buff it enough. It's still bad. Persian's probably where Lucario was before the buff. What do you think the next type-specific week will be? Well, usually type-specific weeks are in correlation with a legendary release or with a holiday of some sort. And we don't have any legendary releases on the docket anytime soon. So I would put my money on Halloween, which is ghost type, usually. Now, always. Unless they do something for the Legendary Beast event coming out in November. Poor Persian. Yeah, this cat can't catch a break. So yeah, Wobbuffet and Persian are the two that are like, there's no purpose. And for different reasons. Persian, it's not because it... So, Wobbuffet, I'd say, is useless because it's competing with Gardevoir, who's just strictly better. They're both psychic types. Cresselia, if you have one as well. And one's way better than the other. Like, hands down. So that makes Wobbuffet useless because even within its own typing, there's something that does the same role and infinitely better. Is the Crestminster video going to be 2 videos, one for Hoenn starters and a separate for Plusle Minun? Yes, I intend to do it that way, just to break it up a little bit for my own headspace. I've already got Minun done, and I've been trying to get through working on the other ones. I had Minun done a while ago, though. Berserker one day. That'd be great. I love Berserker. But, yeah. Never got one for Dark with Darkrai. Maybe Dark during October. Well, Darkrai's a mythical. That was kind of a unique sort of thing. They were kind of just introducing Dark types as time went on. I think we might get new Water, Fire, and Electric Mons released with the Beasts. Potentially. Yeah, Nidoking, Nidoqueen. Well, they might with the Amber Canyon. I think there could be a good place for Poison Ground, with there being a Poison-type berry in the mix, and then it's very earthy, being a canyon. Berserker is so cool. Alolan Persian, not so much. I think Alolan Persian is cool because of its ability. Its design, not so much. Yeah. Are both Team Rocket mods. Persian and Wobbuffet? I didn't know. Oh, cool. Interesting. Oh, Marowak. Marowak is the other one that really has no justification. Because Swampert, now, like, same reason as Wobbuffet. Swampert's just better in literally every way. There's no justification for Marowak, or for hunting a Marowak at this point. I don't even know if there's justification to invest in Marowak. Even with Berry Fighting S help bonus, I don't think I would bother with the way they currently have it designed. They made it a little bit better. They did give it a buff, but they didn't buff it by that much. If they had Nidoking, Nidoqueen, I could see them adding Rivalry as an ability and having it work similar to Plus Minus. That'd be interesting. And then that could be an option for eventually one day if they ever add Haxorus. The one Mon that I always am asking for. I love Haxorus so much, and I know he has Rivalry in the base games. Maybe like it gives energy to Pokemon. That could be really difficult to build around because it could be based around gender. Like, it gives a set amount of energy to Pokemon with the same gender and drains energy from Pokemon of the opposite gender. They would add so much more RNG and would probably be completely useless unless they made the gained energy just ridiculous amount. I have a help by this parry fighting as neutral nature Marowak. My ears are bleeding. I'm so sorry. Marowak, they just did it so dirty. Like, if we take help bonus out of the picture, I mean, don't get me wrong, help bonus is huge. But if we just compare it to, say, Typhlosion, who also shares an island with it, and Swampert, at level 50, with Berry Fighting S. Now, keep in mind, they both have way better main skills than Marowak does. And then just throw in a Marowak as well. Fire type and ground type berries. Marowak is just way worse. Even if we give it Help Speed M. If we give it Help Speed M, it's still worse than Swampert and Typhlosion at the same island. And Swampert has an infinitely more valuable skill than Marowak does. So much so that we actually kind of consider the skill productivity on Swampert. And it's not just an extra nice little bonus, it's like a big part of the Pokemon's identity. And it's basically not being accounted for here. Let's boycott the game until they add Haxorus, who's in time for a poll. I'm not I love the game still, even if they don't add Haxorus. I want Haxorus, but not that badly. You think future legendary Pokemon are going to have Helper Boost related effects on their main skill? It's the only thing that could save bad Berrymons like Marowak and maybe Arbok or Ekans. I mean, Arbok is kind of alright. It's a little bit better than Marowak. I make the same comparison at level 50. I guess also... Oh, wait, what? What is... Oh, I forgot to give it Favorite Berry. I was like, wait, what? That is not the numbers I know. It is a little bit better than Marowak, and I guess I have invested in Arbok, so maybe I actually shouldn't be saying Marowak's completely uninvestable. I guess with this, with the stat spread that I have on my Arbok, I guess if you have that same stat spread, it could be worth it on a Marowak. Oh, Caterpiece. Forgot about that. I was just jump scared by Caterpiece. Okay. Because, yeah, the helping bonus, I guess, does have enough value. And with Help Speed S, or M. The problem is, Marowak has competition. Arbok doesn't. Arbok, it's the only Poison Berry specialist, as of right now. And for the future island that's coming out, competing with Altaria for Dragon Berries... Dragonite, who's an ingredient specialist for Dragon Berries. It's not even really a true berry specialist. And Butterfree. Butterfree's the best competition right now, I think. For berry productivity. So, I mean... It's got a lot of... It's got not much competition. Now, they could release a new Pokemon when they release the island. I would not be surprised by that. And technically, both these guys actually do better from Sneaky Snacking. That is something else I have to consider. And then they show up a little bit better, but oh well. Because realistically, you should be Sneaky Snacking both Arbok and Marowak. They don't do very well without it, because they both have pretty bad ingredient rates for berry specialists. And, well, pretty high ingredient rates. And they don't have very good main skills, so Sneaky Snacking them is not much of a loss. Altaria is that way as well. Should generally be trying to Sneaky Snack it. Because it's just, rough otherwise. But yeah, like, 37k versus 42k. It's actually a significant difference on these guys. Unlike with a lot of the other mons that people think... A lot of the other berry specialists where people are like, oh, Sneaky Stacking is... optimal. Not always. It can be optimal at high levels. Good to know at least for AC. Oh, for Amber Canyon. Yeah. That is good to know. Unless you're using the eggs. I will say this. If you're using the eggs in a meal, or whatever its other ingredients are, soybeans or apples in the meal, then it probably isn't worth it to Sneaky Snack it, because getting those extra ingredients can be very valuable. With Arbok, if you're using the sausage, if you're using the ginger and the Marowak, then it can be beneficial to not sneaky snack them. But for comparisons, I'd say the Charge Energy Berry Specialists, just evaluate them as if they're sneaky snacking. And it does do them wonders in terms of how they actually compare. By the way, have you been playing this game since release? Yes, I have. Not because I was a hardcore Pokemon fan and I was a diehard fan of the game that wanted to play Pokemon Sleep. More because my buddy introduced me to the game, Adrian Styles. He's got a channel of his own now. He introduced me to the game and was like, I was visiting him for the weekend. I was visiting him to see the movie Oppenheimer, because it was that same weekend. And, I decided to go out so we could all go to watch it together. He and I are both big into Christopher Nolan movies. So, I visited him, and it was that same weekend. And he was like, dude, you'll never believe this. They're releasing a Pokemon Sleep game. Isn't this funny? And I was like, what? What is this? I have to figure out. I'm fascinated that someone took the time to make this a game. How much can you do with sleeping Pokemon? Like, what? This is so stupid, was my reaction. So I downloaded it just to see what it was. And then it's been something that he and I talk about almost every day ever since. It's crazy. But anyway, that's basically the story of how I got into the game and how I downloaded it day one because we heard about it, or I heard about it when I went to visit him that weekend. I just watched The Prestige again yesterday. That's such a good one. Such a good movie. That's probably one of my favorite Nolan films, honestly, and one of his more underrated ones. Okay. What's the difference between main berries and sub berries? I'm considering using a BFS Clefable, but I'm unsure how he benefits from being the main berry. So, the only difference between main berry and sub berries is that the main berry, the Pokemon get a 10% frequency boost. Now, this actually means 10% faster. Technically, the game's lying to you when it says they help out 10% faster. They're actually helping out 11% faster. 11.111111 infinite ones going on for infinity percent faster. Because of the way that the math works behind it. But then also, their main skill gets boosted by 1 level as well. Those are the only real buffs. If you don't really care about its main skill, then kind of whatever. But the 10% faster can be kind of nice. It's like they all got to speed up nature. Actually, it's exactly as if they all just got to speed up nature. If you want to think of it in terms of something that you might actually know the comparison on. I remember when Pokemon Sleep was announced and I was like, WTF, but then I forgot about until now. What's up, Chewy? One last question for me. I'm a beginner who still hasn't got 75% area bonus on every island. Should I focus on this over Expert Mode Greengrass? Area bonus spread is 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 55 on the regular mode. I mean, I think that as long as you're gaining area bonus and not losing the 5%, I think that the goal should just make sure that you don't ever waste area bonus or expert bonus. Because wasting it is waste. As long as you're getting one of the 5%, that's going to be progress towards something. And it seems like expert mode is the direction the game's headed in, so I mean, headed in for late game. So maybe mid game, you should be more considering what's immediately useful to you, which is maybe less expert mode and more the islands themselves. But I don't know. Favorite is Tenet. Tenet's also pretty good. I just actually watched that one I think I watched it 3 days ago, if I'm being honest. Is the Sleepers going to expert mode? They can't. I've never hit Master 18 on Greengrass, so even if I was wanting to, I wouldn't be able to. They could, if I re-rolled berries until I got normal berry on this week. I did the math in one of my videos. I could have gotten them to Master 18 this week if I wanted to. If I really was trying hard for it and put all my resources into it, but I figured my logic was, if I need to put this many resources into just unlocking M18 right now, is it worth it? Because will I actually be ready for expert mode? The idea of making it barred behind Master 18 is that it forces you to at least be ready for it by the time you go there. At least that's kind of what I thought the goal would be. And I decided that if I have to put that many resources into it on the sleepers, then it's better just to wait. If I was in your shoes, I'd wait on expert mode. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not like it's like, okay, we don't actually know. I know some people have already sent some screenshots of expert mode gains. I know there's a thing in the Pokemon Sleep Discord. Or maybe it's in the No, I think it's in the Rain on X Discord. I don't remember. It's somewhere. Somewhere someone's gathering data to try and figure out what the rates are for the boosts to Dream Shards and Research XP. Someone's trying to figure it out, but oh well. You might as well push to M20 if you're already at M18. Yeah, there was no way I was pushing to M20. I was maybe getting to M19. Also, M20 is a big jump up from M19. It's like a million Snorlax strength from 19 to 20. He's a beginner. I haven't even started yet. I mean, that's more mid-game, I'd say, ish. Because 40, 40, 40, like, that's... Oh, but then the change to area bonus. I was going to just divide by 5, but that's not perfect anymore because they give more area bonus early game now. You probably still think he's beginner. Probably still think you're beginner at that point because you're still getting the novice researcher bonus, but really the novice researcher bonus could be better described as non-veteran researcher bonus at this point. 250% for 15% for until 250%. That's almost 17 weeks. That's 16 to 17 weeks of area bonus being 15%. That's not really that. 17 weeks into the game, you've been playing it for over 4 months. So, yeah. Finally, M20 Greengrass last week. Feel good about going to expert mode after doing M20 Greengrass on a week without an event or a good camp ticket. I think that's a pretty decent threshold. Honestly, I think Greengrass expert mode is not as difficult as a lot of people think it is. I know Ben Brown was theorizing that it wouldn't be that difficult. I didn't think it'd be that difficult, and honestly, I thought it's something that we should be prepping for in some capacity, and I thought there would be challenges in a sense that they'd raise the bar for, like, how much. Honestly, it's almost exactly as I thought it'd be. I thought the penalties might be a bit more severe than what it was. I thought it was going to be more like 25% frequency, not 15%. But the boosts, and I thought the boosts were actually going to be a bit better as well. Actually, I had no clue what the boosts were going to be, but I didn't know how it would exactly work out. Actually, I thought the penalties were going to be stronger, and I thought the boosts were going to be more like a nice added bonus. But it seems like the way that they're making it is the penalties are not that bad. They are bad, and they're worth considering when team building. But they're not horrendous. And the boosts, the bigger penalty of using Pokemon that are off type is not the penalty that's listed here. The penalty is that you're not gaining the boosts. That's really the penalty, because these boosts are pretty insane. Stinging 2.5 times more strength than usual from berries, that's a lot of strength. That's 20% boost. Just a flat 20% boost unconditionally to all berry productivity. From the 2 times that it normally would be. 1.25 times more likely to trigger. That's a conditional 25% of you're collecting every trigger. And also not ever having pity procs. This is a bit of a weird one. I'm interested to see how the numbers work out on this, but it really kind of depends upon how much this happens. And realistically, this just means you'd be getting to rotate your ingredient specialists off even faster. So I'm interested to see how this plays in. I think it may actually, even though they buffed it to ingredient specialists specifically, I feel like even though this is a thing, it's still going to make it so that with weeks with this buff, we're going to be not needing to rely on ingredient specialists as much, because our other Pokemon will be producing an actually sizable quantity of the ingredients you're trying to pull in. Like, if I look at my Espeon, I'm interested to see here. Oh, gosh. I'm going to get rid of this comparison. If I just bring up my Espeon, because I use my Espeon all the time for milk. And I've considered sub-skill seeding it just to get ingredient finding M. But if I look at it like this, it makes 32 milk in a day on average. If we give it an event bonus, where it's now making a consistent +1 to ingredients on every single proc, it's not making 44 milk a day. That's a pretty sizable increase. Oh, I'm out of the loop. What's with the hat? It's a gift that was given me by Adrian Styles. It's got a Snorlax on it. It says, "We're always making serious strides." And serious strides is spelled with a Raichu's tail. And it's got the 3-star Tyranitar atop Snorlax's belly. All his references to the channel. It was a gift, and I've started wearing it for streams. Because I appreciate it. And I think it's pretty cool. I'm not wearing it for videos, though, because it does kind of make my face harder to see. But I think for streams, it's more chill. I can wear it here. Okay, I don't think plus minus stack beyond 2 to activate the bonus effect. Yeah, they don't. They don't stack further. You only need 2 of the Pokemon on the team. So 1.25 skill trigger boost reduce the likelihood of piggy procs occurring. Yes, it does. So realistically, the 1.25 boost is not a 1.25 boost, except for Pokemon that have really high skill trigger rates. Like Golduck, obviously. Umbreon. Them, it's pretty much a perfect 1.25 skill boost because they're hardly ever pity procking. But all their Pokemon that actually do have a decent amount of pity procs, they're actually not going to feel quite a full 25% impact. And how much that's going to actually depends on the Pokemon. Out of the loop. Oh, if I used Espeon for milk, I'd sub-skill seed for sure. I sub-skill seed to IFM on a Raichu because I need his Ginger, even though it's so off-meta. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If you need the Ginger and find yourself using it for Ginger all the time, then that is totally a good play. I use mine for Ginger a lot, too. And I sometimes almost wish that it didn't have an ingredient finding down nature. Actually, no, that one doesn't. That one has an energy down nature. It's the other one that has the ingredient finding down nature that has apples. It's got mono apples, and I use it for apples all the time. But anyway, if I change this to ingredient finding M, then I could theoretically get 51 milk out of it a day. It's actually pretty, like I said, that's actually pretty significant. Fire hat, yes, agreed. You all got to thank Adrian Styles for it, because he's the one that gifted it to me. As a 1,000 subscriber gift. I know it's a bit late at this point, but I still do have some plans for 1,000 subscribers. Even though we're almost at 1,100. Actually, we might be at 1,100. I don't know. I haven't looked. Last I saw, I was at 1099. First time I can join live. Glad you're here, Malk777. Always glad to have more people. But yeah, 51 milk a day in expert mode when Psychic Berry matches. If I get a Psychic Berry week, I'm set. It doesn't even matter what meal I roll. It doesn't matter what the buff is. I'll just do alright for Psychic Berry. Doesn't matter if it's 1.25 times boost. Now, something that I'm very interested to know. Ben pointed out last time... if we take a look at the news... for super skill, or for expert mode, right here. If it would load. My Google's freezing. Okay, what's my time zone? CST. It's 11:23 p.m. 1,100 subscriber special. Visits the official Pokemon Sleep Hotel restaurant in Japan. I don't have enough money to do that. I'd love to. That'd be cool, but not now. That can be safe for, like, I don't know, 100,000 if that ever happens. I doubt that'll ever happen, but if it ever happens, then maybe then I'll go. If I get a silver play button, maybe then I'll book a trip to Japan. What would you say are the strongest berries right now? It would have to be berries that all have a legendary Psychic, Fire, Water, Electric. Then I don't know. I think it's going to vary depending upon your box. Like, for me, it's definitely Psychic Electric. Hands down. There's no doubt about that for me. But you gotta evaluate it across the board, and everyone's going to have different Pokemon. For Ben, if I was just to go off of his box, because I don't know everyone out there's boxes, but if I had to guess for him, it's probably going to be Psychic, because healer. But then, because he uses Gardevoir. And probably Water, because of his Golduck. So, like, there are probably other ones, but as far as what I think overall is the best, honestly, I'd say all the healing types have something going for them. Even if they're not necessarily able to carry on their own, they'd probably make terrible mono-type teams. But having your healer be more reliable, I think, is very valuable. So I think any of the types that have a healer immediately or an energy for everyone healer, immediately just have something going for them that all the other types don't have. In that support. Even if they couldn't carry on their own. Like Fairy type doesn't have much going for it. But it has Wigglytuff. So, like, having Wigglytuff alone, just being an energy for everyone healer, that's pretty reliable. And that doesn't have that same sort of thing that I was talking about. I don't think the comparison is like Persian Swalot earlier. Like, if I compare... Well, this is an interesting question. How does Guard compare to skill-boosted Wigglytuff? Oh yeah, Sylveon's Fairy as well. I just think of Wigglytuff because it's the cheaper option. So we just consider, like, an alright... Or a pretty good Guard. Because realistically, you're investing in healer. Usually I see better stats on healers than most other team members. Just because it's such a pivotal role. People say settle for the best. Usually. I'm not saying you should, but... okay. When comparing healers, you gotta make sure this is set to 0 because they have to rely on their own healing. Let's clear those favorite berries. Okay. Comparison time! Event bonuses. Get rid of that. Okay, skill trigger rate. We're gonna start by looking at 1.25 times. Skill trigger rate on Wigglytuff with a frequency boost. Oh, also my Espeon numbers earlier were worth a 15% frequency decrease. I need to remember that I have that difference. Okay, so 6.16 on the Wigglytuff. I mean, even if we just change the frequency boost, it's already at 6.27. If we get rid of that event boost as well, and that makes it 5.19. Wait a minute. I might have done that the wrong way. Nope, that's right. Okay, so 5.19. Now, if it doesn't have favored berry at all, and we're just looking at 5.12. So debuffed Guard is about the same as on-type Wigglytuff. But boosted primary type Wigglytuff is better than debuffed Guard. So I guess maybe Fairy doesn't have much going for it, because you could, if you have a good Gardevoir, you can just use that, and that's about the same. Do they make the +10, -10 candy button more faster when held? Or am I just imagining things? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't used it since the last update, I don't think. Maybe I have. If I get Fairy Week Expert Mode, it'll finally be time to invest my berry fighting as Togekiss. I want to invest in Togekiss. They're a fun Pokemon. I just find that I'm the type of person that has most fun doing what's most optimal. Even if that's against what I would traditionally say is fun, like investing the gambly Pokemon like Togekiss, or the cool Pokemon like Lucario. I think I just have more fun min-maxing, and being willing to take the not-so-pretty things, and the not-so-fun things, just to get the bigger numbers. But then I don't like managing the game. I don't like opening the app and swapping things around and managing it. It's weird. I optimize very weirdly compared to most of the community. I wonder how Energizing Cheer holds up with the type bonuses compared to off-berry E4E. I mean, you just saw the comparison of Gardevoir to Wigglytuff. Did we consider Wigglytuff viable before? Wigglytuff was already better than Energizing Cheer. How do you think the comparison would hold up Wigglytuff? Like something that was worse than Wigglytuff before to Gardevoir. Yes, me too, but my knowledge on min-maxing is vague enough to not bother. That's also fair. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the crazy dude that spends hours a day in Rain on X. My opinion on the new Pokemon. Basically, it's... If you have a Plusle, if you have a Minun, go for it, just to have more options for plus and minus. But otherwise, it's the same sort of things I thought about Plusle and Minun. Except for, I think, Toxtricity Amped really doesn't have much going for it, because the farmers for milk are better. Rain on X Simulator is my favorite game. I live in Rain on X. It is... I know this website better than I think I do the software that I use for my job that I get paid for. I love Toxtricity so much, I'm sad it's a bit underwhelming. That's understandable. It's a cool Pokemon. It definitely looks like the coolest, one of the coolest guys. But unfortunately, they kind of made it mid. I mean, it is better. Toxtricity low-key form is better than Minun. It is. Amped form procs more than Plusle, but I think Plusle is a more useful Pokemon because it's coffee instead of milk. Yo, have we seen Toxtricity stats yet? Yes, it's very... It's okay. I think it's too much of a cost for what it's worth. Because it's a skill specialist, so it takes skill seeds. And it's the plus-minus pairing, where you need to have at least 2 of them on the team for them to really work. Oh, it's plus and minus. Yeah. How does it minus compare to Magnazone? I mean, that is a good question because... You know, actually, we could compare that. We could actually compare that. Because... Realistically, Magnazone... Unless you're trying to make Defiant Coffee Dress Salad specifically, it really doesn't matter that you can fit a few more extra ingredients in the pot from a Magnazone over a Toxtricity's skill. So, the number of procs matter more for cooking power-up specifically. Unless you're trying to make Defiant. If you're trying to make Defiant, don't bother with Toxtricity instead. It is a little bit better, but not by a significant enough margin that I think it's worth giving up the flexibility on potential Defiant, because if you go for this guy, you're locking yourself out of Defiant until November at the earliest, and then who knows what sort of meals will get past that point that potentially then this guy won't be able to reach you. Because the barring of how many ingredients cooking power-up's getting. So, they take off the 15% debuff. I did, I believe. No, I did not, but it doesn't really matter because they'd both be getting that equally. So the percentages should be about the same. That's why I didn't really bother with it. Minus version is awkward to hit the threshold for the biggest recipe. I mean, they're both awkward to hit for the biggest recipe. The only one that's awkward is awkward for one that isn't for the other is Defiant Coffee Dress Salad. I've done this comparison before with the numbers. If you have a maxed out pot size, if you have smaller than maxed out pot, then it's not quite the same. But right now the maximum pot size is 69 ingredients. If we look into minus cooking power up, it's add 24. 69 plus 24, I can do this off the top of my head, but I'm just not. 93. So as far as meals go up here, that makes it that we can make hidden power perk up stew. You can make petal blessed... No, you can make neither of these salads. You can't make Clodsire Eclairs. You can make Zing Zap. The only ones that you're missing are Apple Acid, Defiant, and Cut Sukiyaki Curry. Now, what is it? The other skill. Cooking Power Up adds 31. 31 plus 69 is 100. That only one that gets you, Cut Sukiyaki Curry is 101. Apple Acid Salad, 104. Clodsire Eclairs, 102. You can't make either any of these three with a single proc on the main skill for Magnazone. The only one it gives you access to that you wouldn't have access to with minus is Defiant. So, if you're targeting Defiant Coffee Dress Salad specifically, then Magnazone is strictly better, because you only need one proc for that instead of 2. But in all other circumstances currently in the game, they both would take you 2 procs for the other biggest meals. So realistically, you don't need a Magnazone's extra space, unless you're trying to make Defiant. Granted, Defiant is the second highest value, or it's the third highest value in the game after Claudzar and Sukiyaki. But it's just, that's the only one where it really matters. So I'd actually think that this is a more fair comparison. But, like I said, keep in mind, once they unlock the Amber Canyon, then suddenly all the pot size goes up by 12 if you max it out. Which if it goes up by 12, then suddenly both of them can get you all of these meals, I believe. Because 69 plus 12 plus 24 is 105. So then after that point, all these meals will be accessible by both of them. The question is, what sort of meals will they be adding? So Magnazone is more future-proof to potential future meals that could fill more of the pot. Meanwhile, Toxtricity is just going to be missing out on Defiant right now, but there could be an asterisk once new meals come out. It does, well, oh, also Magnazone does save a main skill seed. That's important as well. My Great Minun is as great as my Great Magnazone. With both, I intend to go Magnazone first because of evolutions, unless I get an insane plus user. But there are many months away from my gold seeds. That's also a thing. Gold seed investment. Ugh. So few of them in the game. I wish we got them more reliably, but I understand why not. It honestly does make a good consideration where to put the main skill seeds. It's pretty late here, gotta go take care of. Have a good night, Malik. Level 4 Magnazone can hit it with 2 procs, but minus can't. Well, okay. I guess if you're not putting up all the skill seeds levels of investment, that makes sense. Tox, say something. I'm assuming that you're willing to take whatever it is, because it's a skill specialist all the way to max level. I guess you don't really need to do that for... I guess the way that a lot of players use it is they're just looking to get the procs to make the meal that you're looking for during off weeks to level it. Because on event weeks, you're usually using a good camp ticket, so you don't need to run the pot expander. So I guess that does make a difference in off weeks. Then you don't have to invest the full main skill seeds. But I don't know. That seems pretty niche. I'm so pumped for this coming week. Haven't hit M18 yet, but hoping to this week. So fingers crossed for the right berries for the right team. Also, I'm dozing. Okay, herbs will make a comeback at the end of the year. I can see that happening. Dragonite's been kind of slacking in a sense that, like, they haven't given us a meal with a lot of herbs in it. Probably because a meal with a lot of herbs in it really is powerful. I mean, look at this. Inferno Corn Keema Curry is actually pretty strong for only having 77 ingredients in it and a 48% meal boost. If they gave that a 61% like they gave the other ones... let me just do the math here real quick. If that had the same meal boost as the other ones, if you have 14,000 strength, almost 15,000, and it uses, like, 15 less ingredients, for an extra for only being about 4,000 strength weaker if it had the equivalent meal boost, think about if they put that many herbs into a dish. The herbs are not weak. They were only used that potently and that many, in that abundance, because it was Dragonite. It was released with Dragonite. Herbs and corn gotta make a comeback. Yeah, that would also be Dragonite as well. Yeah, good camp ticket really undermines the skill. Yeah, that's also a thing. Okay, I can't believe they debuted the British region with a mid Pokemon. Brings me great shame. Someone with a perfect shiny Magnazone fully invested, I don't intend to switch. That's also the case. If you have one already, don't bother. Cramorant, don't worry, Ali. One day we'll get all the Galar stars. Cramorant, nice catch. Yeah, Cramorant's still a very bizarre Pokemon. Cramorant's a very interesting one. I like it. It's funny. And it kind of is... It's... I feel like it's underrated by the community, but it's very hard to figure out how it is supposed to do its thing. Now, helpers could use this, but won't hurt it. Or won't hunt it. Yeah, makes sense. Would you invest it on a Pommy with skill trams, level up nature, mild nature, or keep hunting? Depends on where I'm at in the game. Very early game, I would take that easily. Late game, when I already have my healer situation, kind of at least got my feet off the ground with a healer of some sort, then I'd probably hold off. But if it's your first healer, I would absolutely invest in that. What up, what up? Just joined. What did we learn? Sorry, just got off. You're all good, Noah. Summary, Toxtricity is plus and minus. Both, it's plus and minus is what it is. And it's good at the skill, but the skill itself is kind of mid. So that kind of makes Toxtricity kind of mid. As for expert bonus or expert mode, it's seeming to be pretty solid. I don't know all the details yet, but kind of an oof. Yeah. I'm trying to find the data. I know somebody was recording data. And I wonder if more people have submitted data. But I can't find it anywhere. Let's see. Wait, I might have figured out how to find it. Oh, it's definitely in the Rain on X Discord. Give me a minute. Thanks, I have an excellent guard, so I guess I'll keep hunting. Just wanted to get a good healer for that island. Yeah. The thing about guard is it's such a good healer that realistically almost everything's gonna just do alright. Like, it's gonna do alright at every island. And the thing with a healer is you're not getting value off its berries. Like, you are, but not so much that it's worth considering. Unless you have Berry Fighting S running off type for the most part. If you have it, it's nice, but in the same sense, there are better things to hunt. Unless it's a weird situation, like you don't have much else to hunt for. Like, I've got, I hunted Pommy for a while just because I wanted to boost my old gold power plant experience a bit more. Primarily because it's kind of my home base. I intend to go there, like, anytime there's an off week. Just to generate Dream Shards and Research XP with ease. Because it doesn't take me much to do very well at Old Gold Power Plant. And if I just want to have an easier time at Old Gold Power Plant, then having that Pommy is nice. So the idea behind that for me was just a lot of usage. But that's a very niche circumstance, and I didn't really have much else to hunt at the time. So declaring a Pommy hunt made sense for me. I put the data for the Research XP and Dream Shard rewards in your Discord. If the rewards are 31 times, I like it. Yeah, no, I saw that one. I was talking more, somebody actually created an expert mode rewards thread in the Rain on X Discord. I actually just located it, and no one else has submitted anything to it yet, aside from the one post that you showed, where it was 31 times. I don't think they're doing 31 times, because 31 times would just make Swalot and Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon completely useless, because just use Expert Mode for Dream Shards. That's a lot of Dream Shards. If we look right now at the Dream Shard output, I mean, we've already had mornings where we wake up to, what is it, like, a couple 100,000 Dream Shards with the right circumstances. If it is 31 times, then yeah, there's just no reason to invest a Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon. Someone did a calculation that adjusted for the DPR to Shards ratio. There's only 1.75 times. Also, that Nap had a good camp to get spawn. Yeah, those do make a difference as well. Dream Shard bonus stocks rising. Maybe 1-star sleep styles are 31 times. Yeah, it also could be dependent upon the star sleep style. Like, maybe they just set it. It might be a fixed number. It might not be. We don't really know that right now. It was just one screenshot from one dude that was a Nap. I can look up on Reddit to see if anyone else has submitted anything. Probably scales down higher styles evolutions. Yeah, probably. Oh, apparently someone in Japan already reached Master 20 in Expert Mode Greengrass. But I'm guessing it's a whale. Yeah, someone said it's a whale. Which, if you do that, have fun with the game. There's nothing wrong with that. But, at the same time, there's a difference between reaching Master 20 without whale tactics of whistling, and with whale tactics of whistling. Yeah, they have a shiny Snorlax too. Interesting. 280 whistles. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone else who... I do see someone who rolled Dragon Bug Grassberry. Oof. Alrighty, well. Okay. Oh, Ranox just updated the grant with spawn counts. I thought those were already updated earlier. Unless, was it just a placeholder? If it was just a placeholder, that's kind of sad, because earlier it was kind of looking nice. Maps. Dragon Grass, Sceptile Dragonite. Okay. Map info. So I added it in here. Yeah, this is still what it showed earlier. Spawn counts. Yeah, this was here earlier. It was here earlier today. We had a discussion about it in the Discord. It was here around, like, 8 p.m. my time, I want to say. Like, 3 to 4 hours ago-ish. I tried updating an updated healers infographic, but Automod took it down because it didn't like me mentioning Toxtricity outside the mega thread. Well, you're telling this to the right person. Give me one moment. It's back on the Reddit now, Pocket Boy. Not the... Okay. There's a mod request for you. Don't worry about it, I made a new... Oh, whoops. Well, I already... That's not abuse of powers, that is literally moderation. That is something that would have gotten approved. I can guarantee it. That is literally something that any of us would have done if any of the other mods saw that post in there, they would have allowed it. Sorry, I should have clarified. You're all good, you're all good. If you're worried about it, you can take down the new post, whatever. It's also alright if there are 2 posts in there. What's the rate of ingredient farm when 2 ingredient options have been unlocked? Is there a calculation for that, or just random farm? Wait, the rate of ingredient farm when 2 ingredient options have been unlocked? I guess I'm not understanding what the question is there. I like the feeling of not having to force a certain sleep type to get the spawn you want on the island you're at. The chance for something I need on every sleep type at Greengrass Extra Mode. That is very true. Well, I don't know, actually. I haven't actually looked at all the spawn stuff. It depends on what you're hunting, realistically. Well, I guess in Greengrass, everything spawns there. So theoretically... Well, almost everything spawns there. Not Gulpin. If you want a shard farmer, sorry. Can't go there. They also cut Riolu. But they brought you Sableye. Used to be an island exclusive, now it's not. Yeah. I think they're asking if there's a formula of how likely are... Oh, okay. So, second ingredient, B ingredient, is 1/3. Supposed to establish the mean state of a moderator not being jovial. Oh gosh. So, B ingredient, it's a 1 in 3 chance of being the same ingredient, 2 in 3 chance of being the B ingredient. The C slot is a 1 in 3 of all 3. Honey on first spot and tomato on second. If I get, let's say, 20 honeys before unlocking the second slot, how many of those 20 honeys will now become tomatoes now? So, yeah, it's a 50-50. So if you have 2 slots unlocked, it's 50-50 that it selects either 2 honey or, I think it's 4 tomatoes. Or maybe it's 3 tomatoes. I don't remember the numbers. It'll coin flip between the 2. So, let's say it's 2, 5, 7 Charizard. There's a 50% chance... When it's level 30, there's a 50% chance it'll give you 2 sausage, 50% chance it gives you 5 sausage. If it's all 3 unlocked, it's 33% for 2, 33% for 5, 33% for 7. That's how it works. I think they mean how likely Pokemon is to gather A versus BC versus... Yeah. Okay. I understand the question now. It took me a while there. Each slot gets bigger values, so the 60. Yeah, 60 is big for many ingredient specialists. Especially, I mean, it can be big for any of them, realistically. My Tyranitar, I think, is funny, because even though it's only producing sausage 33% of the time, if I actually get it to level 60, that thing's still going to be pretty insane for sausage. That's going to be my long-term sausage farmer, is really what it's going to be. For this, that my Tyranitar can become a more split farmer. Because it, interestingly enough, produces 75 sausage a day without any help bonus stacks or no good camp ticket. Like, if I was to throw a good camp ticket on this, a couple help bonus stacks, which is more realistic to my playstyle. Let's make sure the multiplier is set correctly. That is. We're looking at almost 100 sausages a day. Like, I'm set on sausages with a Tyranitar, of all things. And it's making 62 soybeans as well. And a little bit of supplemental ginger. Okay, each slot gets bigger values. Slot will have the highest production in total and max. Yeah. And yes, verifying. By the time we get to level 80, 90, could you see them adding a 4th ingredient slot? No. Not unless they add some way to roll a 4th ingredient slot of some sort. Or, like, make it re-roll the ingredient list. Because if they were to do that, and just make it that all Pokemon that are currently out in the game get a 4th ingredient, and you just get what, like, you've already invested the Pokemon, they just give you a 4th ingredient, that makes so many people upset. Because what if all their precious Mono Pokemon would now no longer be Mono at that point, and it would no longer produce the amounts that they want of the, if they randomly get selected to not have the final ingredient, or the same ingredient at the D slot. So I don't see that being the case, unless they add like a special item where you kind of get to like select it, because then they'd allow some customization. Yeah, 4th slot would make Mono hunts even worse. Yeah. Off to bed, Jay. Best of luck this week. I'm so pumped. Thank you. Have a good night, Disco Below. However your name's pronounced. And they release ingredient slot mints. Honestly, I mean, they wouldn't be called mints. It'd probably be... I think the most likely implementation would be some other item from the base games. Just because mints are very tied to nature in the base games. More like... I've seen some people suggest TMs. I've heard other people say TMs would be a dumb thing for it. Because ingredient technical machine would just come off really weirdly. Ingredient puffins. I don't know what a puffin is. What is a puffin? Oh. Oh, it's used to raise... Okay. They're cool, or they're... Yeah, they're competition stats or whatever. That's interesting. That could be something. But yeah. Probably some other item if they're ever to do it. I'm in support of re-rolling ingredient slots with an item. I think that it allows for you to more carefully consider ingredient lists on your berry specialists and skill specialists. Because right now, you just can't afford to make those hunts realistic. But I think there's some very interesting things that you can do when you have a synergistic ingredient list on your skills and berry specialists. They can contribute a significant amount of ingredients to your meals. While still not making ingredient specialists completely useless, because they're not going to contribute bulk amounts that are really going to reliably make the largest meals on their own. You still need the ingredient specialist to carry the most of it. But I think it allows more flexibility to get more skills and berry specialists on. Because you can actually custom tailor the ingredient lists on your berry specialist to exactly what you need. And then also it allows more flexibility to invest in non-mono Pokemon, because you don't have to worry as much about power creep of the meals that you're getting, the meals that you get then get power crept by new, more powerful meals. I think there's a lot of interesting cases that you could think differently if we could actually customize the ingredients on our Pokemon. Ingredient rerolls would make ABA Mons so much better. Rip my... yeah, and not necessarily because you want to just reroll them to be Mono. I think you wouldn't need Mono as much. I think you'd be able to actually use them and not feel so bad about them. Because if you need the opposite, you can always just re-roll. Granted, probably with an expense, so you probably wouldn't want to do it a lot, but that's probably... So I think that ingredient re-roll is something that absolutely should be widespread. I don't think sub-skill re-roll should be widespread for every Pokemon. I think that kind of pushes too close to the side of, oh, just take a Pokemon and fix it, so that you don't ever have to catch a second Pokemon of that type. Granted, it'd probably be really expensive to do that, but if you can just touch it up, that just raises our bar for what is good. What is a good catch. Ingredient list is a very weird thing, because it's like a second... The stats really should just be their stats. Why is there this additional, like, you can retrain your Pokemon moves in the base games. Like, ingredients are, I feel like, the closest thing we have to moves in this game, other than maybe the skills. But yeah. Someone on Reddit just suggested Ditto Mime Metronome users for the healer list, and how could I say no? I mean, Ditto and Mime, that's very, very conditional. I'd say if you're including mine in, then I feel like you should include... Well, okay, Ditto and Mime, realistically, they are only going to do it if you have another healer on the team. Which, in Expert mode, if you have another healer already available to you, then you don't necessarily think of Ditto and Mime as a healing option, because if there isn't another one available, then they're not going to be able to heal. So that's how you could say no to Ditto and Mime. Metronome absolutely actually is a healing skill. If you ever actually use it, you can ask Adrian. Metronome actually does do a lot of healing. If you consider self-recharge to be healing, you probably should actually consider Metronome to be healing. Completely agreed. I know using anything other than Mono ingredient specialist for ingredients is off meta, but a team of evolutions can be extremely helpful in Dessert Week because you get so much milk and cacao while they help with their other skills. Yep, exactly. Good night and good luck for everyone this week. Going to enjoy watching the Crestminster this time around. I cannot wait to get the Crestminster out. Ingredient rerolls will make hunting ingredient specialists so much less painful because you need the ingredient list and your sub skills. Yep, it's also part. Mime is an easy no. Yeah, and same with Ditto. Metronome is only fairy types, and that has Clefairy. Yeah, that has Wigglytuff. So yeah, there's your argument. The same type with healing skills like Chansey with Ditto, but it's not reliable. Yeah. But Ditto and Mime, if they're on-type, can trigger the skills of off-type teammates. Yeah, but if you're running an off-type teammate healer, then does it really matter? They're still probably going to be proccing that skill less than the on-type or the off-type healer will be. You're still using the off-type healer more for the healing than the Ditto or the Mime. Oh yeah, and Mime doesn't need to do it when Crescent Guard exists. Yeah. The only one that really needs to even be worth consideration is Ditto, but Ditto so rarely procs the skill. Should it even be worth considering? I don't think so. I mean, I guess if you run Ditto and a boatload of Eradicates, then they all self-heal. I guess that's something you could do if you have normal types. But I don't think it's going to be probably enough to even reliably keep itself topped off. I wish my Chansey was AAC instead of AAA. C is honey on Chansey, right? I don't know the C ingredients as well, except for on Pokemon that I'm really familiar with or Pokemon that I have in my box. I think it's honey. And if that's the case, egg and honey does have some pretty good synergy. Top meta normal type team accepted. Eradicates and a Ditto. You get a boatload of apples, maybe some soybeans from the Eradicates, and then oil, leeks, and tails. Yeah, honey, good meals. Yeah, Claude's are eclairs. Egg, or not Claude's Eclairs. Flower Gift Macarons. Egg and honey. Is there another one that has egg and honey? Up here, maybe? Up here? Oh, egg, honey, and sukiyaki curry. Can the sleepers use Ditto? No. And I don't think it ever is going to be able to use Ditto. Just because the rules that I've set for myself ban the top producer of every ingredient that is an ingredient specialist. And I don't think they're ever going to give us a better tail producer because tails are such a gimmick. So I don't think Sleepers is ever going to be able to use Ditto, even though it probably should be legal. But just as the way that I numerically define the rules for Sleepers, I don't think it ever is going to be possible. Thoughts on a full Dream Shard team for this week, or do I throw Sceptile Ampharos to boost Drowsy Power? Well, Dream Shard team end of week, Strength team early week. Early week Strength matters a lot more than late week Strength. You can just can the Strength end of week. 4 Raticate. What meal is 4 Raticates and Ditto making? Well, Raticate makes soybeans, apples, and I have no clue what its C ingredient is, if I'm completely honest. C ingredient is sausage. Cool. So, apple, sausage, soybean, oil leek tail. I mean, I guess we can make the oil and the tails with the Ditto for grilled tail pepper salad, but we'd have to get a lot of herbs stockpiled. Although 21 meals is 210 herbs. That's actually not that bad. If Ditto has an AAC list and you stockpile 210 herbs, you could make grilled tail pepper salad for a full week. Even without using the Raticate's ingredients. There's an option. Maybe you have to stockpile some tails, because I don't think a Ditto is going to be able to reliably make that, if we're honest. But you know, you can try it. 21 times 10, but yeah. Need 1 slacking. Oh yeah, I guess you could throw on slacking on the team, but then you're going to be losing energy recovery on your Ditto. So, is that really going to help all that much? A Galarian Slowbro and Slowking. I guess maybe one day Galarian Slowbro or Slowking, if they do something with that. Or Shelder. Shelder could have tails. Okay, I genuinely think, I mean, I said this with Leaks, and I didn't ever really truly say it with Leaks. I could have seen them doing Farfetch for Leak Mono, and they did do Farfetch for Leak Mono, but I genuinely believe they are never going to give us a true Mono Tail option. They might give us an ABB ingredient specialist for Tails, but given that the threshold was set at ABC, C ingredient specialist was the default, I don't think they're ever going to give us something with B ingredient Tails as an ingredient specialist. Or no, A ingredient Tails. Maybe B ingredient Tails on an ingredient specialist one day. But I don't think they're ever going to give us a true mono. Especially because that would make the ingredient look absolutely hilarious. Just think about how many sausages Farfetch gives at level 60. It's like 13, I think. Imagine now they practically double that, because I think Tails have almost double the value of Leaks. If I'm right. They're not quite. They're... Okay. More than double a Quagsire. Quagsire gives you 10 potatoes as its level 60 proc. If you were to make something with Mono Tails, it would have like 21 potatoes as its level 60 proc. That would just fill almost every Pokemon in the game's ingredient or bag space. Unless they have like a really solid ribbon or some inventory sub-skills. Alright, OMG, I feel like I found a gold mine with this community of sleep researchers. Yep. This community is great. I love talking about this game. Gluttony potato salad with Chansey. Gluttony potato salad. It's definitely a salad. I don't... Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one that... Okay, this is a meal that I genuinely hate. Oh, yeah, but I guess Chansey. Wait a minute. Chansey could... I forgot about Chansey as an E for E. I forgot Chansey as E for E. Okay. I guess there's a bit more you could do with that. It doesn't need to be 4 rats. Because you could run... like 3 AAC Raticates. See, in this case, you don't need the Ditto. Just run 4 AAC Raticates and a Chansey. But I guess the Ditto probably is making more energy for everyone's supplemental procs is the idea. So a really skill-focused Ditto. Like a couple AAC Raticates. And then a Chansey. Knowing power creep ABB Tails in a decade. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with ABB Tails being an ingredient specialist and power creeping in that way. I think they're trying to keep it more as a gimmick, though. That they're not really going to be trying with that, like, going too crazy with. Just run 5 Chansey. Yeah, but then you're not getting the sausage and apples. The Raticate's got to give you those sausage and apples to make the meal. What are you going to do with just eggs and honey, or eggs and potatoes, or eggs, potato, and honey, without the apples and the sausage? That's probably the best synergy you're going to get with... What are you cooking right now with this Raticate Chansey team? A mono normal team where you don't have to use any skills that are not that are not healing skills. Nothing too crazy, just a funny thought experiment. I spent way too long looking at the ingredient list combos for expert mode. Here's the thing. I don't think with expert mode we're really going to be able to predict what combos are going to arise. I think it's really just going to be a think on your feet Monday morning to then look through your box to see what you have. Because realistically, you can hunt for the monotype teams, but I think in most circumstances, like, just working with whatever you roll is going to do you better than whatever monotype team you can make. Because, like, monotype teams kind of really suck, especially when you consider that they... On... Let's see... 15 of the 18 types, there aren't any reliable healers, so... Because really, energy for everyone's the only reliable healing, and we only have that for Fairy, Electric, and Psychic. So... Tried expert mode this morning and rolled Poison Berry. Is it worth to use the easy ticket back to normal mode if we're afraid of a bad expert week? I would say no. Expert tickets are an expense, and you lose out on a week of expert bonus if you go there and you don't do... If you're not going to do well, don't worry about it. It looks as if right now, based off what I'm seeing in Rain on X, you're still going to get the same number of spawns. Realistically, if you check out the info for Greengrass Isle, if you check how many spawns it takes, or how much drowsy power it takes, spawn count's gonna be this. Oh, they actually know they updated it finally. Never mind. Wait, what? Is this actually real? Okay, there's something wrong here, because it would not be the same for 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is somehow wrong. 5 million Snorlax strength required for... Okay. Never mind. I don't know what sort of drowsy power it takes for minimum spawns. Only time will tell. They're slowly updating. Okay. Earlier we looked in here. So, when I recorded my video about expert mode, this was just blank. They didn't even have this chart at all. So when they updated it to be the regular Greengrass limits, just assumed that it was, you know, fine, but... Level 1 to level 20, no inventory. Yeah, no, this is definitely just a placeholder sort of thing. It's probably because this is the only data point they were given. So, as of right now, they're probably collecting data. They probably only have 2 data points. And that is someone who got 4 spawns, which I bet I know exactly what that is. Probably. Oh, also, it looks like RandomX just said they have a... Sleep style data export restructure has been done. They just gave an update or something for expert. Let's see. What's this? Rain on X. I'll push through it. Time for the snack to shine. Yeah. Realistically, even if it's bad, like... I've compared... As far as drowsy power goes, correlated to Snorlax strength, here's the thing. You're not going to lose as many rewards as you think you are. Because even if it spawns less Pokemon, or Pokemon use more drowsy power or whatever, it's probably going to give you rarer styles. Because even if only 3 Pokemon are spawning in, if you have 1,000,000 drowsy power, it still can be anything that's in the pool from whatever it's at. If you have 1,000,000 Snorlax strength, let's say you're all the way up here at, say, Grade 5, you still can get a 4-star Dodrio, even if only 4 Pokemon spawn in. And a 4-star Dodrio is still in the top belly fully evolved Pokemon. The game still has options. You still can get Dream Shards and get candies. It's just you're going to be getting less spawns if that's the case. You can still see Charizard at Grade 4. Like, I wouldn't be too concerned about the loss in productivity. Yes, there would be a loss in productivity, but it's not going to be as significant as a lot of players I think are making it out to be. Because realistically, a loss in number of spawns is not that much loss in productivity. In fact, it might be a gain in productivity, depending upon the numbers of the boosts that we see in Expert Mode. Alright, math time. How much area bonus effectively overcomes the non-matched berry penalty? Or how much expert bonus overcomes the non-matched berry penalty? I mean, realistically, there is no point. Nothing's going to overcome it because they're separate systems. But theoretically, I guess I could theoretically see at what point would it be equal. But at that point, it's not like you're correcting and it gives you justification to use off-type berries because, oh, you have enough area bonus or expert bonus that now going forward it's counteracted. Because you could just have that as bonus to the Pokemon that do match. But either way, it's a 15% frequency debuff. So it'd be 1 divided by 1.15 is what the actual nerf is, which is about it's a 13.1% decrease. If we multiply that by increments of 0.05, so if we have 5%, it comes up to 91% productivity. If we do 10%, it's a 95%. If it's 14%, it comes to 99% productivity. So basically, it takes 15%. Oh yeah, wait, no, that'd be exactly what it would take. Because we're dividing by 1.15 in the beginning. So multiply by 1.15, you're getting that right back up. Theoretically, a 15% area bonus should just counteract it completely. So the 15% actually cancel each other out. It's one of the few situations where that's the case. Is running good camp tickets still the play for expert mode, even if you have a good pot expander on skill week? I mean, if you can reliably make a strong meal, probably just make whatever meal you're making. It depends on your availability to good camp tickets. If free to play, probably not. If premium and never buying any more good camp tickets, maybe. There aren't too many more events that we're seeing going forward, but you can always stockpile a theoretical, like, infinite amount, almost, bag size, technically, of good camp tickets. So we do have a lot of events coming up in the future to use those good camp tickets on, but the question to consider is always what else will you use it on, and will you have them in some other way by that point. The next big events that we're knowing about is Amber Canyon, which is probably a 2-week-long event. The Legendary Rerun event is probably going to be 2 weeks long. Those are in November and September. So we'll be getting, if you're a premium player, you'll be getting 2 more. Or, it's currently August, September, October. Oh, I guess September's next month. So you only get 1 more before the Amber Canyon event. So if you want to have it for 2 weeks during Amber... Or, no, that's Legendary Rerun. If you want to have it for the 2 weeks of the Legendary Rerun, then probably save it. If you want to have them for Amber Canyon, probably save it. But if you're willing to buy them with diamonds, then maybe use them. Consider how much they are valued on your account. Somebody M20 are an expert already. Yeah, they wailed. Should be 15% unless I'm mistaken. Feels like a trap question. With the Metronome Mons, fairy types now have 5 healers, and this is ridiculous. Game. Yeah, true. Amber Canyon takes us away from expert mode. Yeah, in theory, it probably will. I mean, honestly, if they do the release like they did in the past, it'll be interesting to see if they include expert mode, because potentially Amber Canyon might not actually... We might not need to go there to get Amber Canyon spawns. Because realistically, it may be that the Amber Canyon spawns spawn at Greengrass Expert, because in the past with new islands, they give us the new island spawns at Greengrass. Sure, they'll be more diluted than being at the new island, and that'll also delay our progress at Amber Canyon for area bonus. But theoretically, the event, we may actually be able to be at Greengrass Expert. It may. And it may be a viable play, depending upon what spawn rates look like. How viable is E4E Chansey Blissey? Not really. I mean, it's got a lot of problems. It's nice supplemental healing, is my thoughts on it. I wouldn't use it as soul healer. You would need at least 2 of them. And they would need to be spec'd for skills, which means they wouldn't be good for ingredients, which means it's not really doing what it's trying to do. If you wanted to use them as ingredient specialists and then get the supplemental healing off of them to be your main source of healing, you'd probably need like 3 of them to actually do the job pretty reliably. And at that point, you're sacrificing... Do you need that many eggs? Do you need that many potatoes or potentially honey? Probably not. So, if there were more supplemental E4E healer opportunities, like if there was an E4E berry specialist, then that could be more justifiable, because you could run like 3 of them, and it actually does kind of make sense if they match favored berry. But ingredient specialists, you only need so many of the ingredients, so it's not really that great. Well, after the Amber Canyon. Yes, after the Amber Canyon event, we are going to be wanting to go to Amber Canyon if you want the Amber Canyon spawns. Most likely. There might be... I'm going to guess that from now on, there's going to be one... Like, from all the new islands, so Amber Canyon, in this case, they're probably going to take one island exclusive and give it to Greengrass Expert Mode. Because that's what they did with the other ones. They gave Aaron to Greengrass Expert Mode, and they gave Ralts to Greengrass Expert Mode. I'm going to guess they're going to continue that trend, and they're going to take one exclusive from one of the other islands and add it to Greengrass Expert. We'll see how much that holds true when Amber Canyon gets released, but oh well. Wonder if Amber Canyon will be harder than Expert Mode or just be between OGPB and Greengrass Expert. I'm going to guess between, because there's a pretty wide gap there. Well, let's see. We can actually kind of make the comparison. Greengrass Expert is 10.9 million versus Old Gold Power Plant is like 6.67 million. I know that. Okay, it's loading. But we need to unlock Canyon by discovering more sleep styles. Well, it depends on how many sleep styles you have. They will give us a new sleep style dex goal, but if you already have the sleep style dex amount that is needed, then you won't need to do anything to unlock new sleep styles. I'm going to guess that, at least I know me and Ben, we probably are fine. Because the sleep style dex goal for Old Gold Power Plant is like... What is it? I don't even know. Oh, 340. I'm currently sitting at... Let's see here. I'm currently sitting at like 600, I think. 650. I'm 310 sleep styles beyond what it took to unlock Old Gold. So I'm not too concerned. I don't think they're going to make it that high of a requirement. It'll probably be 440. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's see. What was Lapis? So, Old Gold was 340. What was Lapis? Lapis is 240. So it goes up 100. So it goes up 20, up 50, up 80, up 90, up 100. It'll probably go up 110. Because from, like, here on out, it's been going up by 10 in the amount that it's been increasing by. If they want to do a bit more exponential, they could increase the amount they increase it by 20. Which would be, like, 460? 470-ish? 460 to 470 is, like... 450 to 470 is probably the range that it'll be in. for Amber Canyon. So I'm going to guess it's in that range. I'm fine at 650. I feel like most players are probably at a point that they'll be past that if they're long-term players that have been playing for a while. But anyway, only time will tell on that one. Now I gotta wait for this to load again. I'm 679 and I have 3-star T-Tar. Yeah. I might have it after the night. Speaking of which, I'm dozing. That's so stupid. Okay. Okay, so the boost from Old Gold to Greengrass Expert is an amount of... Old Gold to Greengrass Expert is about a 64% increase. Now from... What is that from Lapis? Okay. Lapis to Old Gold is the next question here. Come on. Round X is giving me problems now. Congrats. Yeah. Hey, sleep styles are largely determined by RNG. There really is... Honestly, what I'm doing this week is the most you can do to try and target a specific sleep style. And even in this situation, it is still completely RNG dependent. Okay. So, from Old Gold to... Or Lapis to Old Gold, we're looking at a... 29% increase. So to go from a 29% increase roughly to a 68%, it feels like they're trying to put another thing in between that. So I'm going to guess the Amber Canyon's between that. Probably, I saw a prediction from Ghost Detective on Reddit. The Ghost Detective, he predicted about 9 million. I think that honestly feels pretty, like a pretty fair bet. Given that it is around 11 million. I don't know, 7 million to 9 million, that's a plus 2 million, then plus another 2 million is 11 million. That feels about right, so I wouldn't be surprised. Only qualifications having 3-star T-Tar. Yeah. Well, I might have it tomorrow. Might. We'll see how RNG decides. Where's your YouTuber luck now? I every day feel like I don't deserve some of the luck that I've had, because I have had some phenomenal luck in the game. Skill issue. Yeah. Skill issue, definitely. It's not like it's a game that has like a million layers of RNG. But yes. 679, that's... Was that what you said? Either way. I'm not worried. I'm at 650. I think I'll be fine. Most people are probably going to be fine if they've been playing for a long time. The thing is, unlocking new islands should get easier and easier for newer players. That's one thing that we've seen, like, direct buffs to how quickly it is to progress in this game for new players. Like the change to the Novice Researcher bonus, changing from 10 to 15%. The changes to make it so that leveling Pokemon at earlier levels is easier because candies give more XP. Things like that. Strictly, obviously, catch-up mechanics. But one overarching catch-up mechanic is just adding more Pokemon. Because it makes it that there are more sleep styles to encounter, so that you can theoretically get those sleep style dex goals faster than ever before. Additionally, the newer sleep styles generally have higher Dream Shard output and higher Sleep Research XP output, so you can rank up faster. Even if there were no intentional catch-up mechanics, there would be an unintentional catch-up mechanic already pseudo-implemented. If you run a Golduck, you get more sleep styles, because it shows you trust RNG more. Unless RNG decides to let you down. Help Helpers is going to hit 1 million way before I did originally. That's true. But also, we didn't know squat about what we were doing back then. We have way better tools to evaluate stuff now than what we ever did back then. Adding more Pokemon makes the growth slower, which is why they increase candies for everything. Well, it means that you get less candies for each individual Pokemon. That is true. but it does add more sleep styles to get more sleep style dex goals. It also makes it so that, well, like I said, the newer Pokemon usually have higher rewards for encountering them. Blasted up to Lapis Lakeside and OGPP because of all the mons I was researching. Yeah. Makes sense. Heart of the Cards. Heart of the Cards. Coming in November was very nice for a new player. Yeah, I feel like every day is the best day for a new player to start playing. Like, yeah. It doesn't make sense T-Tar doesn't show up after getting badly beaten by a Golduck with an AK. Oh, gosh. But yeah, I feel like every day is the new best day to start Pokemon Sleep, because they're adding so many new player catch-up mechanics. They're having so many more newer events. And if you miss out on one of them, then joining at the next moment, you're going to have more opportunities for encountering new stuff. Knowledge and new player bonuses is the pair. Yep. Okay, Toxtricity comparable to Magnazone. Kind of. I'd say it's comparable, but it's less power creep resilient. And it's more Magnazone's more future-proof. But as of right now, unless you're trying to make Defiant Coffee Dress Salad, I would say Tox is about this. Low-key Tox is about the same as a Magnazone if you can invest the skill seeds. But it also takes one more skill seed, so that is something else to consider. Every day is the best day for new players is a good sign for a healthy game, to be honest. Yeah, I'd say that's true. I look around at people in the world, I just see people who are falling behind in potential Pokemon Sleep greatness. Could you imagine if every single person in the world was playing Pokemon Sleep? Could you imagine how many perfectly statted Pokemon we'd see? More than we already do, to make us jealous. I'm just worrying they started stopping producing Pogo++. I don't get why. Yeah, I heard about that. They stopped producing the Go++, which is like... Are they maybe working on a new one? And if so, what's the pricing going to be on that? Are they intending to end development for things like the games that use it all around? I don't know. But I've got one for my main account, and I kind of considered getting one for the sleepers for a while, but now seeing how the prices have gone up because of them stop producing them, I don't intend to ever get one for the sleepers, since I don't really need to access it after I put the phone to sleep. And I think that makes it more of a challenge run, honestly. So then I'm really not using Pikachu, not even Nightcap Pikachu, which is theoretically the best Pokemon in the game because it doesn't use a team slot, so it's just free stuff. If you look at investment opportunity, if you're going to take the real-life dollar value equivalent out of it, you get it for free, and it's running all the time. That's literally infinite return on investment outside of the cost of the Go++ in real life. Which I guess isn't infinite, but it's the only one that costs real life money. But as far as opportunity cost goes, it's infinite. Infinite opportunity cost. No. 0 opportunity cost. So infinite opportunity value. That's what I'm thinking of, because it divides by 0 for opportunity cost. You can find them for $25 brand new in Asia. Interesting. Okay. At least you can use your watch. Yeah, I could, but then it's tracking my actual sleep, which if I was to track my actual sleep, I'd be so nerfed. I'm not a long sleeper. I sleep for like 7 hours max. People don't buy for $90, please. Yeah, it was expensive when I bought it at like 60. I think it was actually might have been like 50 when I got it, where I found it. But yeah, it definitely was even overpriced then, in my opinion. One of the biggest reasons why I held off wasn't because I didn't have the money to buy it, just because I didn't feel right buying it for that much money. I didn't want to support how expensive it was. But then I eventually fell into it because I realized, you know, it does give me a lot of extra flexibility. But yeah. They might think that with smartwatch compatibility, the ++ isn't needed anymore, which isn't really true, but I can see how a corporate structure would make that call. Yeah, and also it's not just for sleep. It's also for Go. Kind of. I don't actually know much about Go. Or how the Go++ integrates with that. Other than I know that if you spin Pokestops, you get more berries. And I haven't really done that much. Hot take. Extra mode encourages better sleep because you have to be well rested to make good decisions first thing on Monday morning. Hey, you're telling that to me, it's 1 a.m. on a Sunday night. Well, it's actually 12:30, not 1. While I'm in Asia, where are you finding them? Go plus a casualty of tariffs. Oh, that would make sense. The tariffs. Yeah, that was crazy, all the tariff stuff that was going down. Any malls. I'm seeing them for about 8,000 yen. Ah. I do not know the conversion off the top of my head. They have still huge stock in Thai. Since stocks don't go away very cheap. Pokestop is 1 berry strength for each Pokestop. I think it's bugged. Spend 2,000 stuffs, 2,000 Snorlax strength. That's not worth it. If that's really the conversion rate. Well, I can see. They actually have a function for it in Rain on X. I can actually look it up here to figure it out exactly. It's, I believe it's under Others... Nightcap Pikachu or something. Oh no, it's down here. Go plus Nightcap Pikachu. Pokestop spin reward. What it's supposed to be. If you spin 0 Pokestops, your berry rewards are 6. 8 Pokestops, you get 8. If you spin 32 Pokestops, you get 14. Oh boy. Okay. When I first got this game, I was hesitant to get the Go++. It's been my most used investment besides my computer. Yeah, probably same here, honestly. Oh, my car. But then again, cars cost a lot more than those things. From Canada, if the tariff stuff is still going down, my roommate and I wanted to buy a robot this year, but the price went up $300 because of tariffs. I purchased a board game. I kickstarted a board game that went through a whole thing where they're like, we don't know if we're going to be able to make it anymore. But they said that they're going to get it out to their creator, or the people who kickstarted it for them. So I'm excited to eventually get that one day. But we'll see if it ever comes through. Around 43 USD in Indonesia. Oh, that's cheaper than what it was when there weren't the tariff problems in the US. Price differences are wild now. For extra mode, spin 10 million Pokestops this week. Sounds great. It's literally a small chip with a mic and accelerometer. Yeah, that's true. They did overprice it, even from the start. Oh, I see it's cap at 14, then straight strength, maybe? I don't know how that works. But it is, like I said, 32 plus is 14 berries, apparently. That sucks. Info. My record was yesterday 2,000 spins for Origin Palkia Raid. Oh. The games industry is going through a rough time with the tariffs, yeah. I work in tabletop games. Yeah. I feel bad for so many tabletop games people, but yeah. It's definitely a rough industry with the tariffs. But I'm glad that the producers of that game said that they're going to get it out, so yeah. Pokestops are not affected by frequency debuff. Hey, go out and spin 2 million Pokestops. If you do that, that's the expert mode get around. Just spin, spin 11 million Pokestops in a week. If you do that, you get Master 20. It doesn't matter what else you do. How many Pokestops would that be per day? That'd be divided by 7. You have to spend 1,711,596 per day. Over 24 hours a day. That's 71,317 per hour. Or 1,188 per minute. Or basically 20 per second. Go spin 20 Pokestops every second of every day for the full week. And you'll get Master 20 Expert Mode Greengrass. If it is really the one's Pokestop to 1 Snorlax strength conversion. Oh, if you spin 1 million Pokestops, you get 14 berries. Oh, wait, I thought someone said that it was 1 strength per 1 spawn after that point. I don't know. Pokestops have 15-minute cooldown if you only have 1 nearby. Good luck. Find a bicycle route and just cycle for hours. It was healthy. Hi, everyone. What is a Pokestop? Oh, that's something in Go specifically. Pokemon Go. We're talking about the Go++ to strength in sleep correlation. Or causation, I guess. Because of the Go Plus Plus here. Speaking of which, I'm dozing. Actually, it's probably giving me snoozing because of this, if I'm honest, but... okay, 14 is the max. There is no strength bonus after. Just max is at 14 Greppa berries. Okay. Then never mind. Don't spin 20 Pokestops per second. Like a small spot on map to farm items and get Pokemons. Yeah. Still though, 14 Greppa berries. Now, how often can you do that? Is it like every time you log in, you collect the 14 Greppa berries? Or is it like... Because I've never used the Go Plus Plus in Go. I actually signed into Go for the first time in a long time, literally today, because my brother got into it, and he wanted me to trade him a Pokemon or friend him or something. So I signed on, and I added him as a friend. We didn't even do a trade because we were kind of in a rush. But I signed on to it for the first time in probably like months. But yeah. And but I have not synced my Go Plus Plus to Go at all. But yeah. I've not tried to min-max it. I think it's per login and sync. Okay. I mean, it's 14 Greppa berries. That's not much. I don't even know what value it goes up to. But Nightcap Pika, its Greppa berries are what value? Or is it only the value of a level 20? Like, if its berries are that of only a level 20 value Pika, then that's really not that much. Okay, how did they data mine all the incense you can get from the weekly mission for Greengrass Isle Expert Mode? Well, that's not a data mineable thing. That's something that they have to manually collect, but I'm sure they've collected enough data on it at this point. I just have to find the thing in Discord. I know for a fact that they got... what's it called? They already got the Sneasel was confirmed. I know Vulpix was as well. Extra mode Incense. Can the Plus Plus outproduce Gigachu? I highly doubt it. I guess theoretically, if it is per sync, then I guess if you theoretically were inhumanly fast at syncing it and producing spinning Pokestops, then I guess you could theoretically maybe outproduce an actual Pokemon, but it would take a lot. Okay, so, okay. I see someone with Alolan Vulpix, someone with Onix. There's a lot of options, apparently. So we already know there's Sneasel, Alolan. I'm going to make a list for this. Give me a minute. I'm going to give me a moment here. It's time to make a spreadsheet. Oh man, I'm nearing my drive capacity. I need to delete some stuff. I'll do that later. Okay, so Brovini got Sneasel. Oh, it's once per day. Okay, then no, it can't outproduce things. Saw a screenshot on Reddit. Far-fetched. Okay. I'm gonna trust that. Listen, 14 berries is like, what, 40 minutes of Raichu production? Yeah, probably, if we're honest. Okay, this person has a Vulpix. Oh, man, that was a typo. I know I saw someone in the Discord earlier with Cantonian Vulpix, so I'm just going to put that down now. This person has Onix. That's another A Vulpix. Mudkip. Mudkip confirmed in the pool. Oh, someone actually made an infographic of potential ones. They must have gotten more, data. It's in a different language, probably some kind of Japanese, but this was pulled from the data and someone said this is what it is. So, okay, I guess I didn't need to start making, I guess I did not need to make a, spreadsheet. But oh well. There's Muna. that's probably what I'm going to get. There's Munna and Swablu. So they said if you get anything other than that, please let them know. It looks like they have one for each typing. But it's interesting because it doesn't look like it synchronizes to your type Pokemon, like the ones you rolled. So like this person got a Mudkip Incense from a Grass Dragon Fireberry. Yeah. Posted a list I found on the Pokemon Sleep channel. Oh, so yeah, if this is the list that you posted, then I'm sorry I pulled it from someone else. Oh, yep, I see it now. I'm seeing it now. I was a little bit delayed. Is Toxtricity good? It's mid. I probably wouldn't suggest hunting it unless you need exactly what it can offer, which is plus minus. Person I saw with Farfetch was that person, if you want to cite that. U/X Aldaris. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will be posting it, but I can give credit where credit is due. Those are the incenses we can get in expert mode. As of right now, these are all the confirmed ones. And like I said, it looks like it's one for each typing, which is pretty interesting, pretty unique. A lot more options than what there are at the other islands, only being 3 at each island. And it's interesting how they picked all these typings. I'm surprised they didn't... Well, I guess they couldn't do... I think Swablu only ended up here because of lack of options. Because the only dragon types in the game are Dragonite and Altaria. Or the Dragonite line and Altaria. And the Dragonite line doesn't spawn at Greengrass Expert mode. That's probably why it's there. So they had to just stick Swablu in. Psychic types, they could have done so much better, though. Like Ralts, come on. That's right. I guess Ralts already has an Incense reward, though, at Lapis. So they probably didn't want to do that for that reasoning. So then, yeah, I guess they probably didn't... What other Psychic types they give us? Because they probably didn't want to give us Ralts for that reasoning. I guess that's why there'd be Musharna. Probably not going to do Espeon, because that's normal type of base. This is a good variety of incenses overall. Yeah. I would agree with that. But it does mean you're probably not going to get one particular one that you're hunting for, but they're probably giving the best they could of each typing from the pool that's available. Oh yeah, Mime. Mime's not at Greengrass, though, or Greengrass Expert mode. So Mime wouldn't be available. That's only at Old Gold Power Plant in Cyan. I mean, there's no way you can't get Totodile Incense otherwise, right? Oh, wait a minute. You can get Totodile Incense. That's from Cyan. Thanks, I can use my Trico Incense this week. Well, only if you get grass. If you get Trico Incense. So anyway, to support your content via cryptos, I feel that not being helpful far away helps escaping taxes as well. ChatGPT told me that, not financial advice. I don't want to mess with cryptos at all. I do appreciate wanting to support me that way, Ubu, but I don't want to mess with cryptos. Not because I think they're bad or anything, just that's a whole world of information that I don't want to try and dive into and figure out. Hey there, Asa. Glad to have you back. So if they doubled up on Totodile, they can double up on anyone. Yeah. So they realistically could have given us Ralts. Why would they... Now I'm confused. Why did they give us Munna? Munna is not a very good Pokemon. For the 2-year event... oh yeah, anytime Ulu. For the 2-year event, I made it to Greengrass 15. Should I gun to unlock Expert mode? So... I'll say the same thing that I said with when I was talking about my own account with the Sleepers. I figured not worth it to rush it and try to gun to Master 18 just to unlock it. Because realistically, if you have to dump a boatload of resources in to get to Master 18 just to unlock it, they probably are having that barrier there for a reasoning. And that reasoning is because you're not ready yet, if you can't at least reach Master 18 at Greengrass, is the idea. So I'd say wait a little bit until you can actually reach Master 18 without just gunning for it and dumping a boatload of resources into it. Try to make sure that you can actually reach there comfortably. And then I think you're set for Greengrass Expert mode. And I think if you can surpass that barrier, honestly, I think anyone that can surpass that barrier is more ready for it than they think they are. Alrighty. Why did they give us Comfey? I mean, probably because... Oh, wait, that's another doubled up one. Comfey can also be at Cyan. There's 2 doubled up ones. I forgot about that. Interesting. But probably because, I mean, fairy types, what else would there be? Igglybuff, Togepi. Those are both baby Pokemon that are pretty common. They probably wouldn't want to put those in Incense. Cleffa, also a baby. Are there any other fairy types? Well, I know there's Sylveon. But once again, that's base as an evolution. Oh, 3 with... Wait, Onix is at... I didn't know Onix was an Incense reward. I guess they... I remember they did update Top, but I didn't remember that they added Onix. Comfey buff. I would love to see a Comfey buff, as long as it's not too much of a Comfey buff. I would love to see a buff overall, because I think the Pokemon needs it, but I would hate to see too much of one, because then I might have to ban it from Sleepers, which if that's the case, boy, did I waste a lot of resources. Anyway. Okay, I think the important thing about Expert Mode is to remember we're starting at 0 area bonus, and 0 area bonus will be painful no matter what if you're accustomed to having higher area bonus. That is very true, Jess. Once we build up that area bonus, I mean, we'll be feeling a difference after just 2 weeks. I mean, even 10% is huge. It doesn't feel like that big of a difference when you're going from 65% to 75% area bonus. You can maybe feel a slight difference, but it's not nearly as extreme as the difference between 1 to 10% area bonus. And that's just because the nature of... The difference between 1.65 and 1.75, you're only increasing from your frame of reference by, like... You're only increasing from your frame of reference by 6%. Meanwhile, going from 1 to 1.10, you're now going up a true 10%. So, like I said, even just a 10%, even just getting 10%, we're going to feel a huge difference. Still never seen it. Would Blaziken be any good in Expert Mode when you roll Fighting Berries? Should we be fine without a healer? If it's got the primary favored berry, probably. It'll probably be fine without a healer because it gets +1 main skill level. It's got lowered frequency, or higher actual frequency, lower in-game frequency, which means it'll be helping more often, which means it'll proc its own skill more often. Additionally, if it has the 1.25 times main skill boost, which it can have a third of weeks, then it's going to be proccing quite often, actually, at a 1 skill main level higher than it normally would be, than if you otherwise. So it'll probably keep itself energized. The real question is, do you have a whole team of Pokemon that can keep themselves energized without a healer? Because if only one Pokemon can do it, that doesn't really matter. Because only one Pokemon's going to be doing alright, and then the rest of the team's just dead. I believe self-sufficient Mons will be superb. Only if you roll the types for all the self-sufficient Mons. That's the problem with it. You gotta actually make... If you even have one Pokemon on the team that doesn't self-energize, that kind of ruins it. And then it's like, you're trading a team slot for having a main skill on everybody else. I think that's a fair trade-off, and a beneficial trade-off, realistically, because you're getting more productivity out of that slot. But at the same time, there's a lot more interesting things you can do with the main skill. A lot more synergies that can arise. Is it worth the trade-off? And you have to really just test out the different teams in order to figure that out. So, yeah. Yeah, first week on Green Grass Expert is going to suck for everyone, but don't be discouraged. Just remember that boosting area bonus is progress. A lot of progress. It's huge. OGPP for me then. I'm hoping to get some of the higher spawns there. Yep, that's pretty useful. Get yourself a Grubbin. They're pretty good. My Magnazone is so slow and expert, I already failed the breakfast threshold for ingredients. Like, it's not producing procs because... Is it off-type? That would make sense. Just coping with the fact that my favorite Hoenn starter was done dirty. I mean, it wasn't done that dirty. Realistically, it's an alright berry specialist. It's just they didn't give it anything interesting. Sceptile and Swampert are really, really interesting in this game. They gave them some really unique stuff going on that makes them really, really powerful. Blaziken, they just kind of... They made something that's good, but not great. It's not notable. And it was released with 2 very, very notable and game-changing Pokemon. Which is why it was done dirty. Because comparatively, it was done dirty. If it was released right now, I feel like it would probably be given a similar treatment to how Toxtricity is, but... Why is my question being ignored and being censored? Haha. Wait, what question? Do you know if the incense is tied to the berry roll? Like, oh! It's not tied to the mission reward, from what I've seen. I was looking through the Discord earlier, and it's, it looks like other people were reporting just complete randomness. But someone just made the correlation that they all tie to a certain typing, so... Raptor is still salty with the AI battle. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. The AI battle. What a time that was. Alrighty, well. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with this. I'm very interested to see what Pokemon actually, like, somewhat can find a niche in Expert Mode. Do they have any updates here for sleep amounts, or spawn count, drowsy power lookup? Nope. In fact, it's actually somehow gotten worse. Because now they lost the spawn count for 4? What? How does that make any sense? Well, now I'm confused. What? Well then, that's intriguing. I don't know how it got worse. I don't know how they got less drowsy power. I swear every time I look at this, it says something differently. First time I looked at this, there was just nothing here. Second time I looked at this, it just showed regular green grass spawn counts. Third time I looked at this 4 had a different number. You can go back further in this stream, and then these other ones showed this way. But I don't know what the rest is. Infinity. I guess that actually makes sense, because there's nothing really beyond... You can't get more than 8 spawns. That's why that's infinity. But still. Oh well. I have no clue what's going on here. As for how many spawns. But I'm excited to see what Pokemon like actually carve out a niche for themselves. Spaghetti Code, where my favorite magic happens, of course. I wanted to show a spreadsheet that I'm kind of working on. Now, this is very preliminary, and I was trying to do some, like, evaluation of which Pokemon I think are going to be viable in some capacity, which ones just really don't stand a chance. Yeah, I guess someone got 8 spawns at 5 billion drowsy power and then reported it. Probably that dude who whistled his way to M20. But anyway, I was looking at just the berry specialist first and foremost. I was trying to do something for ingredient specialist, but haven't really completed it yet. But anyway, I'm probably going to make a video about this eventually. I'm still kind of figuring out what my expert mode video is going to look like. But this is probably going to be integrated into it, so you guys are getting a sneak peek for tuning into the live stream, or watching the VOD, if you're watching this afterward. But anyway, could you do a quick recap for Toxtricity if it's too annoying? Okay, I'll come back to this after recapping Toxtricity. Toxtricity, I'll be very quick about it. It's very... like, it does what it does well, better than other Pokemon that are in the game that do the same thing. But what it's trying to do... oh, it's not going to be at that island. What it's trying to do is something that I don't think most players are really going to need. It's just kind of... it's Plusle and Minun all over again. They kind of need to be on a team with another plus or minus in order to stand a chance at doing well. Toxtricity is the minus, so it can provide some energy, can provide Cooking Pot expansion. It's very comparable to Magnazone, competitive with Magnazone in the amount of procs per day. If you're targeting Defiant Coffee Dress Salad, don't go for it, then go for Magnazone. If you're targeting any other meal, this one's going to be well enough, but it'll get one less main skill seed. Amped form produces milk. If you need a milk farmer, then this guy synergized with a Plusle or Minun or another one of itself will make you a lot of milk, but that's its primary goal, is to make milk. So it's a skill-based milk farmer. Alright. Videos coming is fine too. I just wish Paldean starters got the incense from expert as well, maybe in the future. That could be the case. Maybe at Old Gold Power Plant. If Old Gold Power Plant expert mode, I know all 3 spawn there. I could need right now a cooking power up poison type. Toxtricity, low-key, then would be a cooking power up poison type. But anyway, as far as expert mode, I think an interesting way to evaluate the Pokemon is how do they compare, what I was doing earlier with Wigglytuff and Gardevoir. How do they compare with the boost versus without the boost? And with Berry Specialist, we kind of got like 2 different forms of boost. We have the frequency boost, and then we also have the 2.4 times strength and the frequency boost as well. Now this can differ a little bit with skill boost, because some Pokemon, like, I think, where is he? Houndoom. Houndoom gains more off of that skill boost than other berry specialists would, because it actually has a pretty valuable berry, or main skill. Has a pretty valuable main skill. So realistically, like, some of these are going to vary in their main skill strength. So I just wanted to compare them, like, oh, I should actually go back and re-edit this, adding 1 main skill level to each one of them, because if they have the frequency boost, they also have 1 main skill level, and I evaluated at base. But anyway, I just took down numbers for what they would produce, just in a brief comparison, to see how they perform against each other. But then also, I did it for Sneaky Snacking, highest value, and then, oh, I also did it for if we max out their main skill, so I probably don't need to rerun it. But yeah, this is the highest value they can get without maxing out their main skill level, and the highest value you can get with maxing out their main skill level. This is what they score with 2.4 times the frequency, 2.4 times berries, and a frequency boost, just 2.4 times berries, frequency boost, and 2x. So realistically, if they're in this column, oh, and this is when they're penalized. None of them are good while they're penalized because of all the negatives. Yeah, Weavile does score pretty well. But anyway, 2.4x, if there are only 2 Pokemon on this side, if there are only 2 Pokemon on this side that doesn't have the frequency boost, that do better, or that do worse than this side, then it's realistically not ever worth it to hunt that Pokemon, because there's just always going to be a better berry option, is kind of the idea. And really, the only ones that do that poorly are Marowak and Eevee Holiday, and Slacking, which Slacking is really bizarre. Musharna is also not that far off. But, like, the worst on this side is, like, Butterfree and Raticate, because the whole idea is, even without the frequency boost, they're still doing better. There's going to be better options. Now, this doesn't take into account the whole idea of, what do you roll? What do you have in your box? Because a Marowak with Help Speed M is going to be better than an Arbok without it. That's just the case. If that's what you have in your box, you have that in your box. But for what to hunt and what to prioritize in hunts, a Marowak should be just the bottom of your list, because its maximum value output, even when comparing it both for if you're maxing its main skill or not, is the worst. So bad that, like, there's only like 3 Pokemon that actually do worse than it, or 4, even without the frequency, even when it has the frequency boost and they don't. And most of those have other typings, like, example, one of them is Raticate. Raticate, there's the alternative of Ribbon Vigoroth. And Ribbon Vigoroth outperforms it, so really normal type berry isn't a worse one. And also, Marowak has also competition, direct competition, with Mudkip line. Swampert, yes, Swampert, which does way, way better. Anyway, does Expert Mode mean we take skill Pokemon to their max main skill level -1? So we have more variety and occasionally it's maxed? Potentially. I mean, I think it makes more of a case for temp invests that just go 1 below. But, I don't know. I feel like it's still better to try and take them to their max level, because only one in... If you assume that you only use a Pokemon when it matches Berry typing, then realistically, you should be investing it, like, all the way, because you're only going to be using it 1 of 3 weeks at the max skill level then. That's still giving you triple the amount of opportunities to use it if you just take it 1 skill level further, which I think is worth the extra main skill seed if it's that good of a Pokemon. So, I think it also depends on the Pokemon. Like, if it's like a secondary healer, let's say you primarily use Gardevoir, and you want to invest a Wigglytuff. Well, but once again, you might want it for... Well, because we determined earlier that Wigglytuff is only better than the Gardevoir if it has the frequency boost. There's an example. Maybe we would take a Wigglytuff up to 1 level below max skill level, just so that you can use it when Wigglytuff has a frequency boost. Because otherwise, Gardevoir still outperforms it even with the frequency debuff, as I was showing earlier. And this is some interesting ideas and different interesting things to discuss, which is actually kind of funny for me because I actually have a Wigglytuff at level 5 main skill, and it was my early game healer. Main skill seed stonks. Yeah. Main skill seeds are the most valuable resource in the game. It, hands down, is always the thing that I'm struggling for the most. I know sub-skill seeds can be more valuable for free-to-play, just because they are rarer. But if you're premium, and you get the monthly ones, as well as the occasional free ones and the quarterly rewards, you have plenty of sub-skill seeds, usually. So, yeah. Alrighty, well, I am starting to get a bit tired, and I know I have to be up a little bit earlier tomorrow morning. Just because I'm gonna probably have to do a lot of prep and work to calculate and record a video for tomorrow's session, just because of expert mode. I intend to go to expert mode because now that we know the details about Toxtricity, I'm not interested enough to divert my plans to go to Old Gold Power Plant for a week. So, is Toxel any good? It's niche. It's not bad, but it's not... It's good in the niche that it's doing. That's my assessment of Toxel. But if you don't need that niche, it's useless. Anyway, good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the live. It's been great. I always love live streaming for you guys. And have a great one.